Now moving on to another example. And this one is actually a pretty interesting example. It pertains to Psalms 29, verse 2. It says, "Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness." It's about the word splendor. In the Hebrew, it's hadara. That's what the Hebrew says, hadara. Now, hadara can mean glory, beauty, and or splendor. The Talmud Yerushalmi, or the Jerusalem Talmud, in Berachot section 53b, suggests that it can be read as charada as opposed to hadara. So it can be read in an alternative way, namely as charada as opposed to hadara. Now charada means fear or tremble or anxiety. Hadara, which is the actual word that is written there, means glory, beauty, and or splendor. But again, the Jerusalem Talmud in Berachot section 53b suggests that it can be read in an alternative manner, namely by using the word charada as opposed to hadara. Charada means fear, tremble, and or anxiety. Now, the 16th century Rabbi Eliezer Azikri actually offers an argument in favor of the alternate reading. He says that the guttural letters, and this is very interesting, he says, this is a rabbi, he says that the guttural letters, which are the Aleph, Chet, the Hey, and the Ayin, can be switched one for another. Did you catch that, Ahmed?
Sorry, I lost you at the last.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Rabbi. 1 sec.
So, yeah, no problem. So I'll repeat. So, Psalms 29, verse 2, it says, "Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name, worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness." So the word for splendor is hadara. Hadara can mean glory, beauty, and or splendor. But the Talmud Yerushalmi, which is the Jerusalem Talmud, as opposed to the Babylonian Talmud, which is called the Talmud Bavli, and Berachot, section 53b, suggests that it can be read in an alternative manner by reading it as charada as opposed to hadara. Now, hadara, again, means glory, beauty, and or splendor. Charada, the other word, means fear, tremble, and or anxiety. Now, again, a 16th century rabbi, Eliezer Azikri, in his explanation, actually offers an argument in favor of the alternate reading. He says that the guttural letters, which are the Aleph, Chet, the Hey, and the Ayin, can be switched one for another. These letters. Now, this is obviously extremely problematic, since one could make the Bible say all sorts of things by doing so, right? If I can switch out
do rabbis have this divine inspiration where they're allowed to do this sort of stuff? Because this is crazy.
That's where one of the problems arise.
Let me switch the words around. Let me do this. Let me not say a word. Let me pronounce a word, but not the fact that it's not there. Let me add a letter. Like,
yep.
What the hell's going on?
Exactly. Again, and I want to remind people, this is a rabbi who says this, not a Muslim, not a Christian, a rabbi about their very own text. He says that the guttural letters, which are the Aleph, the Chet, the Hey, and the Ayin, can be switched one for another. Well, again, this is extremely problematic, since one could make the Bible say all sorts of things by doing so. Also, Ahmed, just a question. Doesn't this remind you of a particular verse in the Quran?
They changed the
letters.
Yeah, the letters and the words. SubhanAllah.
Yeah, it says in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah or verse 13, the following: "But for breaking their covenant, we condemn them and harden their hearts. They changed the words from their places. يحرفون الكلمة." I'm going to come back to this. "And neglected a portion of what they have been commanded to uphold. You, O Prophet, will always find deceit on their part, except for a few, but pardon them and bear with them. Indeed, Allah loves the good doers." يحرفون الكلمة. They changed the words from their places. But يحرفون can also mean something like where you change, for example, letters within a word. That would also fall under this category. If you change letters from their place or replace them with other letters in a particular word, you're also changing and distorting words from, for example, in this case, their proper place, because kharada is not even in line with the context that it's talking about. Yet we have a rabbi who says that, yeah, you can actually change the guttural letters around for one another, basically attesting to what the Quran actually says. Subhanallah. Surah Al-Ma'idah, Ayah 13. So this is a very interesting one. And this is just one of the few examples that they do this, that they actually admit this outright, that yeah, in some cases, you can actually change certain letters, and this does impact the meaning. This does impact the meaning. Also very important to note.